Everyone in the city knew the Harrison name. You couldn't walk downtown without seeing it. The Harrison Technologies logo sat high on our glass headquarters, shining like a crown over everything my grandfather had built. He started the company from nothing. My father helped it grow around the world. And now, my uncle Marcus believed it was his duty to protect the family legacy. But protecting it, in his mind, meant handing it over to his son, Bradley. It didn't matter that I'd graduated top of my class at MIT or that I'd been coding since I was 12. None of that meant anything to Uncle Marcus. To him, the company belonged to the men in the family. Bradley, who barely made it through business school and still called IT when he forgot his email password, was his golden boy. And I was just Sarah, the niece with good ideas but the wrong gender. I took a deep breath and walked through the shiny marble lobby of Harrison Technologies. I nodded at the security guards who had known me since I was a little girl running through these halls, chasing after my dad. My heels clicked on the floor, practical ones, not the fancy ones Olivia, Bradley's sister, liked to wear. Morning, Ms. Harrison. Tom at the front desk smiled. Big day today? Just another shareholders meeting, I said casually. He grinned like he knew better. Maybe he did. Upstairs, the executive floor buzzed. This was more than a normal meeting. Today, Uncle Marcus was going to announce Bradley as the next CEO. The timing wasn't surprising. I had submitted a detailed proposal just 2 days ago, one that could modernize the company's outdated tech systems. It was my best work, but I already knew it would be ignored. Sarah, Bradley called out, grinning as if I was just a joke to him. Didn't think you'd show up. Thought you were off doing your little side gigs. He meant my freelance work. He didn't know the full story. I wouldn't miss it, I replied calmly. The boardroom was filling up. Uncle Marcus stood at the head of the table, with Bradley sitting proudly next to him. My father's chair sat empty, the one he'd left behind when he died 3 years ago. He left me his shares in the company, shares Uncle Marcus had tried to buy several times. My Aunt Patricia kissed my cheek. Interesting outfit choice, dear. I glanced at my plain black suit. It wasn't expensive, but it was sharp and professional. It's practical, I said. She smiled in that fake way and said, so like you to be practical. The meeting began. Marcus droned through reports and updates. I sat still, waiting, and then, finally, he looked around the room. Harrison Technologies has always been a family company, he began, and today, I'm proud to name the next leader of that family. Bradley sat up, adjusting his shiny new Rolex. But first, Marcus added, we need to discuss a recent proposal submitted by my niece. All eyes turned to me. Sarah believes we need a full technological overhaul. While her passion is admirable, Marcus said, his tone thick with fake kindness, her ideas are untested. She doesn't have the experience to make such big changes to the company. I leaned forward. The proposal is based on market data. We're falling behind. Clients are leaving us for newer, faster tech companies. Bradley laughed. We just signed with Global Tech. They're the biggest name out there. Right then, the boardroom door opened. Sorry I'm late, came a familiar voice. Everyone turned as James Morrison, CEO of Global Tech, walked in, cool and confident, but instead of greeting Marcus or Bradley, he came straight toward me. Sarah, he said with a big smile, my favorite CEO. Our board's still talking about the AI upgrade your team built. You've changed the way we run everything. Marcus's face went pale. Bradley looked like he'd been slapped. James, I said calmly, standing to shake his hand, didn't expect to see you here today. I couldn't miss it, not after what Phoenix Technologies did for us. Gasps filled the room. You all knew, right? James asked the board. That Sarah owns Phoenix Technologies. Her systems increased our efficiency by 300%. Marcus's hands were gripping the table. You own a company? He said in disbelief. I pulled out my tablet and projected my slides onto the big screen. Yes, Uncle, the side work you always brushed off. It's not a hobby, it's a company, my company, and Global Tech is one of our many clients. Charts, data, revenue numbers, and a list of clients appeared on the screen. Everything was branded under Phoenix Technologies. Bradley looked furious. You've been working here part-time. Exactly, I said, while building my own tech firm, and as of this morning, Phoenix Ventures, my investment group, owns controlling interest in Dawson Systems. Now the room went completely still. Dawson was our biggest competitor. But they sold to a private investor, Marcus stammered. They did, Phoenix Ventures. I clicked to the final slide, a breakdown of shareholders. There were my father's shares, plus all the stock I'd bought quietly through smaller firms, and even more important, proxy votes from board members who had grown tired of Marcus's leadership. I stood. You tried to keep me quiet, but while you were focused on power and tradition, I was building something better. Then I smiled. I don't need your permission anymore. I have the votes. I'm the majority. James chuckled. Looks like someone underestimated the wrong Harrison. The room exploded. Bradley stormed out. Aunt Patricia looked like she might faint. Uncle Marcus just sat there, staring at the numbers that proved he'd lost control. I took a sip of the coffee Tom handed me, my usual order, just how I liked it. The meeting will continue in 1 hour, I said. We'll be discussing new leadership. As the others filed out, I stayed behind, looking around the boardroom that had once made me feel small. Now it was mine. Tom smiled. Big day, huh? I grinned back. No, Tom, I said softly, this is just the beginning. Because the best way to prove yourself is not by fighting for a seat, they already doubted you. The best way is to build your own table, your own company, your own future, and then walk in when they least expect it and take what's already yours. You couldn't handle your father, my mom began, her voice quiet. I looked straight at her and said gently, you mean you couldn't handle how proud he was of me? She didn't argue. Instead, her expression softened as she pulled out an old envelope from her purse. He left this for you, she said, holding it out. Told me to give it to you when the time was right. I think now's the time. I took it with shaking hands. It was a plain envelope, creased and a little faded, like it had been waiting a long time. Inside was a single sheet of paper, my father's handwriting across the page, dated just 3 months before he passed away. Dear Sarah, if you're reading this, then you've done it. You've taken control. You've proved what I always believed, that you were born to lead, not follow. Marcus never understood that real innovation doesn't care about your gender or your age. It cares about your vision. I watched you quietly build something incredible. I saw how you used everything I ever taught you, how to be patient, how to be strategic, how to stay calm even when they underestimate you. You're probably wondering why I didn't stop Marcus from pushing you aside. The truth is, I couldn't protect you forever. You needed to build something of your own, something that didn't rely on our family name. And you did. It's yours. Truly yours. The company is changing. The world is changing. Harrison Technologies needs someone who understands both the past and the future. Make me proud, sweetheart. Show them what a Harrison can really do. Love, Dad. I folded the letter slowly, holding back tears. My chest was tight, but there was also a deep warmth inside. He had believed in me all along. Mom reached across the desk and squeezed my hand. He knew, she said softly. He always knew you'd be the one to bring the company back to life. A knock at the door. It was Elena again. They're ready. Everyone's in the boardroom. I stood up and straightened my blazer. The time had come, not just to lead the meeting, but to lead the company. Mom smiled at me, this time, a real smile. Lead the way, CEO. When I stepped into the boardroom, everything had shifted. You could feel it in the air. The older board members looked tense, unsure of what was coming. The younger ones looked energized, excited. Uncle Marcus was already standing, his jaw tight with frustration. Before we begin, he started to say, I have something to. No, I interrupted, calmly but firmly. You've said enough. 4 years. I nodded to Elena, who began handing out folders to everyone around the table. These are the new organizational charts, I said, effective immediately. Harrison Technologies is merging with Phoenix Technologies. All systems will be fully integrated within 6 months. You can't do this, Marcus shouted, slamming his hand on the table. This company is my legacy. I looked him in the eye. No, it was my father's legacy, and he left it to me. I clicked to the first slide in my presentation. Let's talk about the future, not the outdated future you were clinging to, but the one that's actually coming. As I laid out my plans, advanced AI, blockchain systems, quantum computing, the boardroom changed. The tension shifted to curiosity, then to inspiration. The older members began to listen. The younger ones leaned forward. They saw what I saw, potential, real innovation. James Morrison, who had stayed for the meeting, caught my eye from across the table and gave a quiet nod of approval. Uncle Marcus didn't say anything, he just stared. I don't think he even understood what I was presenting, but he understood one thing: he wasn't in control anymore. And one more thing, I said at the end, Bradley's office will be turned into our new AI lab. He can have his things out by tomorrow. The room was silent for a beat, then someone chuckled. It grew into quiet laughter, relief, maybe, a release. This wasn't just revenge, it was transformation. A month later, the change was visible everywhere. The old executive floor had been redesigned into a bright, open space. Bradley's old office was now filled with whiteboards and young engineers sketching out new ideas. My father's desk now sat in my office, but the room looked different. It wasn't about legacy anymore, it was about progress. Maya, my assistant, stepped in. "Your uncle's here." I didn't look up. "Which one?" "Marcus, but he's not the same." That made me pause. No lawyers, no press, just him, and he looks tired. I pulled up the camera feed. Marcus stood in the lobby. No suit, just khakis and a polo. He was holding his visitor badge like he didn't know what to do with it. "Send him up." A few minutes later, he walked into my office. Slowly, he looked around like he didn't recognize the place. "Sarah," he said, "may I sit?" I nodded. He sat across from me and looked around again. "The lobby looks different, brighter, more alive." We opened it up. I explained, "Visitors can now see our innovation teams working, no more hiding behind walls." He nodded slowly. "I saw Bradley yesterday. He's struggling. He's interviewing with Jensen Corp. tomorrow." I said, "It's an entry-level role, but it's something." "You're helping him?" "I'm helping his kids. They didn't choose this." He lowered his eyes. "Just like you didn't choose how I treated you." I didn't say anything. I let the silence speak for itself. "I was wrong," he said, "about everything. Your father saw something in you, and I didn't, but now I want to understand. I want to learn." I looked at him carefully. Was this real? "I'm not asking for a position," he said, "not even a title. I just want to be part of the future. I want to learn everything, from the bottom if I have to. Coding, AI, whatever it takes." I paused, then nodded. "We're starting a new development program next week. 4 months, no shortcuts. I'll be the old man in the room. You'll be a student, just like the rest." He smiled faintly. "Thank you, Sarah." I didn't smile back, but I didn't shut the door either. "This company builds things," I said, "including people." After he left, Maya returned with coffee and updates. Bradley's wife called. "The kids' tuition is covered through next year, anonymous donor." I nodded. "Good. The scholarship program is ready. First group starts next semester, 15 students. Make it 20, I said, "and make sure they know there's a future here if they work hard." "Oh, and your mom called. The family wants to do dinner." I thought about it, all those past family dinners, how invisible I'd felt. "Tell them yes," I said, "but we'll do it here. I want them to see what we're building." Later that night, I stayed at the office a little longer. I placed a new photo on the wall. It wasn't the old photo of Dad and Marcus from the early days. It was a picture from our hackathon last week, young developers, whiteboards full of code, sparks of ideas flying in the air. Behind them, my father's old awards still stood, a reminder of the past. But the future? The future was here, in this room, in the people who were finally being seen. My phone buzzed, a message from James Morrison. "Board meeting tomorrow, ready to show them what real innovation looks like." I smiled and typed back, "Always ready." Because the future belongs to those who build it. And we were just getting started.